Hey guys, Crystal Thompson here for Simon Says Stamp. Today we are releasing the da 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 paper rose poinsettia border. I can never say that, but it's a beautiful Christmas flower, gorgeous greetings, and we're going to be doing some heat embossing in gold and in white. We're also going to be doing some watercoloring. So you're going to have three pieces of cardstock, some white watercolors, gold for embellishments, and then we are using four colors of Zig clean color markers. Let's get started. So I have my beautiful floral image on my Misty, and I am stamping my Misty onto the watercolor. And the reason I'm using a Misty is because this watercolor paper does have some texture, and I know I cannot stamp perfectly. So I'm gonna grab that. I know it's a little bit hard to see on the video, but I'm gonna be sure that I have covered all those beautiful flowers, and this flower does have quite a few details, so I wanna be sure that I captured them all. I'm going to add that heat embossing powder. I'm gonna come in and heat set it, and I really love this part because it just comes to life. You're gonna see how glittery this gets. So I am using the Simon Says Stamp gold embossing powder, and I absolutely love it because it really raises up, and then you'll be able to see that shimmer as I move it around. All right, guys, we're gonna move on to the sentiment. Wishing you the merriest Christmas, and I like to do all my heat embossing together. So this, I'm gonna be using a piece of teal cardstock. I'm going to stamp that sentiment twice. Again, I'm using a smaller Misty, the mini Misty, and the reason why is that I want to be sure that that sentiment is nice and straight. Again, I am completely terrible at stamping straight, and that's okay. We're going to come in with white embossing powder, and we're going to cover that sentiment. And I really love doing this because you are sure to get a nice, clean, crisp image. All right, I've heat embossed that and trimmed it and set aside. I'm gonna come in with the lighter of the teals of my Zig clean colors, and our leaves are going to be teal. So when you are making your color selections for your teal cardstock, if you choose to do this color combination, try to match at least one of those colors to the color of the leaves. I'm going to add all the shadows first to my little leaves, and then on an acrylic block I'm going to add some of that color just by drawing on it, and then I'm going to grab my water brush. I'm going to clean that off. I'm going to come in with my darker red, so some of the flowers, some of the leaves and petals are going to be this darker red. I'm going to add my shadows. I'm going to clean off my brush and then come in and start adding that. I really love using these Zig clean color markers because it allows you to create some depth and dimension with one color. So I love Copics, but I feel like this is much easier and a little more beginner friendly in a sense, because you only have this one marker and it gives you that gradient from light to dark, and the blending on it makes it super easy. And if you make a mistake, it's easy to clean up. You just dab it up with some water. So we're going to continue on. So my first set of the top layer of the petals are a dark red, and then the bottom layer of my floral petals are that lighter red. And then I wanted to add more of that green, so I'm coming in with my darker of my teal. All right, guys, so that's what it ends up looking. It's the same process that we followed earlier, and that gold just really makes it pop. I'm gonna come in with my detail scissors. I'm gonna speed this up just a little bit, and I'm going to cut. So when you are fussy cutting floral images such as this that have round corners, turn your paper. Don't turn your scissors, if that makes any sense. You're gonna have an easier, rounder cut, and you will not put so much strain on your hand by turning the paper. So make the paper work for you. Don't twist and turn your hands with fussy cutting, and it goes a lot faster and you get rounder cuts. All right, guys, we are almost to the tail end of all this cutting. I absolutely love it. I hope that there is a coordinating die for this. If so, I am making my Christmas cards out of this stamp set. It was so easy, and you can totally mass produce by using your Misty to stamp a ton of these floral images onto that watercolor paper. And then if you have a little assistant or somebody to help, they can help because it really is that easy to color these florals. All right, I have a piece of the smoky gray cardstock from Simon, and I am using a gray ink pad. And honestly, I have that floral image just on my Misty. And as you can see, I'm not being very particularly perfect about where I'm placing this floral. I'm just trying not to overlayer too much. And all this is going to do is going to create a very nice background for the entire card. So it's not so plain. So now you have more florals on the back and we can begin our card assembly. So I have my red cardstock. I'm going to place this off gray cardstock down onto that red, and we're going to mat it and try to center it the best we can. We're going to place it down, and this is just with flat runner tape adhesive on the back, not any foam. We're going to be using foam for our flowers. Then with our Gansite Hamby watercolors, we're using kind of a lighter gold on this. We're going to make a nice thick color pigment, and we're going to splatter it and try not to get too big of splatters because we don't want to hide any of those flowers. So if you find that you just can't grab that color, you see how I just drop more water and mix it and keep grabbing that pigment. And the longer that water sits on the watercolor, the thicker it will get. Okay, we are almost done. Just going to continue flickering. Be sure to cover your surface. It is a bit hard to pick up some of these gold pigments if they land on a porous surface. I have some foam adhesive on the back of this floral image. We're going to place it a little bit off to the center. And then we're going to grab our beautiful sentiment and see how that teal sentiment strip matches those leaves. It just really puts it all together. And I really enjoyed how pretty and a different look on this classic Christmas floral. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Crystal Thompson for Simon Says Stamp, and we are using a paper rose collaboration for Stamptember. Have an amazing day.